Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 29, I'll be tying a Hendrickson Emerger. So let's get started. The Hendrickson Emerger. Place your hook in a vise and cover the entire shank of the hook with thread and wrap well into the bend. The critical bend, that is. Yep. Right around there. Now, for this emerger, we're going to be putting on a trailing shuck. And the shuck material I use is like an Antron yarn that I have on my site. You want to tie in, not a whole heck of a lot of it, just a couple fibers, maybe 8 or 10 fibers. The material is very fine. So you just want to tie that in on top of the shank, like so. And then cover up the remainder of it. You can, that might be a little long there. Just so that the body that we're going to build eventually is consistent and you don't have any weird bumps going on. All right, now pretty much what I like to do for the length of the shuck is give it about a gap's worth. Something back there. Now, I also like to put tails on this bug. 3 or 4 tails. You can use pheasant tail. You can use wood duck flank. So just kind of throw them in there as well, right on top. Just like you did for the trailing shuck. All right, now, and again, ride that all the way up so that the body that you place on top of this will be relatively even. Let me adjust that tail a little bit. It looks a bit long. There we go. A little tweaking. Okay. Now I'm going to return my thread back to the critical bend. Here we go. And I'm going to use some, for the ribbing for this fly, I'm going to use a gold wire. I like what, it's like a nice fine gold wire. Attach that in on the side and wrap that back. Now, what we're going to use for the abdomen is going to be a ring neck pheasant tail fibers. Maybe 5 or 6 of them should do the trick. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 or 6 should be good. You don't want it too bulky. Just, you know, I think I got 5 there. I'm going to tie it in, not from the cut end, but from the natural end. Just going to tie those tips in, wrap them back to that critical bend, and then return my thread up about 75% of the hook. And now you want to carefully wrap this, not too thick, don't overlap too much, and just kind of butt the ends up together with each wrap. Just butt them against each other. And you want to select a piece that's quite long so that you have some room to work with. I'm running low, but that was my last wrap, so I just made it. Secure that. Clip off your excess. Now grab that gold wire and give it an equal spacing. Maybe 8 wraps should do it. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. That looks good. I like the effect of the gold. Sometimes I use copper, but gold like stands out pretty nice. Adds a nice effect. Get rid of that excess. So let's review. So we have our trailing shuck, on top of which is our couple tail pieces, 3 or 4 tails. And we have our we tied our gold ribbon for our segmentation, and then for our body, we had 5 or 6 of those pheasant tail fibers from the ring neck pheasant. So everything's in place, and now we are going to put a hackle in. We're going to put a medium done hackle size, right around a size 14 hackle for this 14 fly. And like I said in previous episodes, you bend the fiber, the hackle over, and the fiber length should equal approximately the shank of the hook, including the eye. And that's what I strive to do. So I'm going to strip off the downy fuzz from here, exposing the hackle stem. I'm going to tie that in right to the side of the fly, or the shank of the hook. Clip off the excess. Now, for the fun part. We're going to tie a little wing in here, and it's going to be made out of the Compara done deer hair. But just a little, tiny bit. We'll take a piece of the medium shade Compara done deer hair, where you can find that on my site as well. And just a cup, yeah, maybe a half a gap's worth. Let me just get that amount. A little bit of hair. Get our hair stacker. Put the tips of the natural ends into the hair stacker. You don't want to put the cut ends in. You just want to put the natural ends into the stacker. And just give it a couple taps. Should be nice and even. Maybe a little more. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the wing is going to be actually going this back. So I'm going to reorient the hair stacker so that the wing is facing the direction I want to pull it, so I don't have to fumble with this wing and make a mess out of it. So now there's a couple fibers out of place here. There we go. So now I'm going to measure the wing length, and I'm going to draw a little imaginary line from the critical bend up. And that's my wing length. I'm going to come forward a little bit. I'm going to just attach that in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take those wraps off then. You want to put a crease in the wing. And the reason why I do that is because now watch. And you can tighten your thread too. Watch how much closer I'm going to get to the shank of the hook with just one wrap, because that crease is in there. And it gets me closer to the shank, and it won't be as bulky. Okay, you can get rid of all this excess. And the thing to realize is there should be some room behind this wing here of just thread. I wanted to kind of put it in the middle. Actually, I'm a little too far back, but I think I could salvage it. Yeah, maybe I will loosen it up a little bit and just push it a little forward. Yeah, right there. All right, secure that nice and tight. Yeah, I want to be right in the middle of there we go. That's what I'm looking for. That nice space back there, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So now we take some of that Hendrickson fur blend, the female Hendrickson fur blend, just a little. Just draw it a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. And I'm going to dub some on my thread. Again, this stuff will dub down to a 28 with no problem. No wax needed. Slide that into position. Pull your wing forward. You want to build this Hendrickson fur blend, this female Hendrickson fur blend, up behind the wing. And also in front. And what we're trying to imitate is the adult escaping from the exoskeleton of the nymph, and it gives a really cool effect there. So yeah, it's a great little pattern. Has saved my fishing trips on numerous occasions. Now you take your hackle, which is going to represent your legs. And I don't want a lot of hackle here. I just want to put one in the back. And one in the front. Maybe two in the front. Okay. Tie that off. Clip off your excess hackle. And any wild hairs that go flying away from my tie-down point. All right. Form a little foundation for your head. Tie your finishing knot. Okay, now, almost done here, guys, almost done. Any fibers that aren't cooperating, get rid of them. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to clip all the stuff off the top and behind. All the hackle fibers, that is, not the wing. And I'm going to do the same for the underside. Just want a sparse amount of hackle fibers there. Nothing crazy. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to grab the wing very carefully and curl it. Just like so. Give it a little curl. And that'll imitate the wing unfurling, actually. And also, don't forget to cover your knot with the glue, the head cement. And there you have it. I got one or two hackle fibers I want to get rid of. So you have literally the adult peeking out of the, crawling out of the exoskeleton. You have your trailing shuck. Just a couple fibers. You don't have to go crazy. And that's pretty much it right there, guys. The Hendrickson Emerger. Okay, well, thank you for joining me for this episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next. Tight lines, guys.